You guys as parents, you're not perfect. I'm not perfect. We all know this. The problem is when our children perceive that we are. This can be so tricky. So Dr. Mary Gillis is joining us to help us kind of navigate through the waters of how we talk to our children about this, because I think kids want to believe that their parents are perfect, correct?
Anessa, to this day, sometimes I want to believe my parents are perfect.
I do too. I think they're really close, I've got to say.
Yeah, well, they raised a good one.
Oh,
so anyway,
okay, what do we do?
So I was so lucky and so fortunate to speak with Deborah Ann Davis. She is a best-selling author and educator, and she is so great. We've had her on Indy Style before, and she has some tips and tricks about how to help us navigate in so many words that parents aren't perfect and have made mistakes in the past. So I want a really interesting example she has right here for us.
Okay, wonderful. Let's take a look at that now.
Now it's all on the cell phone, but it would be a great activity to print out some of the pictures from when you were young and put together a photo album with your child. And then you could talk about those stories and you say, oh, this is when I was doing such and such. I used to fight a lot with my sisters, and I wish I hadn't, because now I argue with them as a grown-up, and it makes me feel sad. So you can talk about those things that are part of your past and say, I would do it differently if I could going forward. And without having to say, I'm not perfect, your child understands that there were things that you would change if you could.
So interesting. We all have a past. We all have regrets. We have things that we're still doing wrong. This is important for our kids to understand, but how to navigate the waters of having that conversation. You've got some much needed solutions for us that are going to help us, right?
So Deborah says in this example, correct, Anessa, that we need to start the discussion early.
Meaning when they're little.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. And of course the language matters in terms. I thought the one that she just discussed was making it an activity, come together, and in that indirect way, you don't have to say I'm not perfect.
They just pick up on that,
yes.
Okay? And then use stories.
Use stories, exactly, like this one here with making the photo album, and then also saying I wish I didn't fight with my sister so much because I did earlier. And then it really helps children understand that in such an indirect way that they're not perfect. And we also want to help our children. We have to go through things, right, as children, but we also at some point want to help protect them against some of the mistakes that we've made.
And they're going to make mistakes too, right? And they're going to learn and grow from it, just like Mama and Daddy did.
It's part of it, right? It's part of growing up.
Yes. Okay, evolves and directness. What is that?
So the examples evolve as children get older. So for example, she uses, or younger, so she uses an example, well, I wish I didn't take the sprinkles off the cookies because then there were no sprinkles left for everybody at the party when they had the cookies. So
we all did stupid things, didn't we? And we wish our
Guilty.
kids, we want to protect them from that, or sometimes they think their perception is that we're perfect. But I think it's so wise for them to understand our humanness. So you speak to that, Mary. You've got the full interview where? Because we want to check that out.
Well, the full interview, she has so much to say. It was a great conversation. It will be on the Indy Style page later today.
Okay.
And then it will also be on my Facebook page at Dr. Mary Gillis.
Yes, follow this lady. You do lots of great interviews. We want to make sure to check them out.